safety team. Give me a moment here. Review the case to find out what happened, why the reservation was canceled. But
what did Airbnb say to her? What date did they call her and contact her? Can you tell me that?
Sure. Here's what I'm gonna do then. I'll follow up with the team who had to cancel the reservation so that they can provide you with an update, since we are not provided with any details at all with the reason why the reservation was canceled. And I will also.
But when was it? When was it canceled? And she stayed at my house.
Mm-mm. Well, it shows the reservation was canceled yesterday.
And when was she? But when was she supposed to stay there? I'm not talking. Are you talking about? You're yesterday. That wasn't Catherine. That was Giano or something. Are you mixing Catherine up with Giano? Catherine was the day before that. I'm not sure if that's how to pronounce her name. Hold on, I call her Cat. Let me look at and see how I spelled it.
On the 7th or on the checkout date.
By who?
Well, that's what would have to find out. I'm sending a request.
How do you cancel after, if they were already there? How do you cancel it when they were already there?
Well, that's also a question. We haven't been provided with any details.
But that doesn't make any sense. Does that make sense to you? In other words, they're there and they called her to cancel it after she stayed there? When did they contacted her when she had already stayed there? She told me she got a phone call. She called me. She got a phone call from Ireland. So what did they say to her? Would they say, we're giving you your money back?
Well, based on the status of the reservation, the guest has been refunded in full.
So they knew she stayed there and refunded her money?
By the looks of it, that's what happened.
Why the fuck would they do that?
Well, that's what we have to find out. I'm sending a follow-up request now so they can respond to you immediately.
But when are they going to respond? How come they call all these people back, but they don't call me?
Well, that's what we would have to find out.
How come no one calls me? No one from there calls me or writes me, but they call these people who make up lies about me. Catherine didn't make up lies about me, but I wonder if she knows she was getting the money back. Did they tell her, we're giving you your money back? Hello?
I can't really provide any answer to that, Peter. The most I can do is to hand this over to the team now so they can provide you with an answer.
All right.
And provide you with an update about the case.
All right. Well, I forgot to tell you that I was recording this for...
Yes.
Is that okay?
This is also recorded. It is recorded, yeah?
Yes, so you don't mind, do you?
Well, that's how we communicate with our users. By default, the conversation is recorded.
Yes, same. So we do the same thing on our end. All right. Just so you understand. All right. Well, when will Airbnb get in touch with me? Can you tell me that? I'll hold on. Ask your supervisor when they're gonna contact me about all this.
Oh, this is with a different team with our safety, Peter.
I know. So how do you get a hold of them?
Well, I'm sending and updating the case now so that they'll be aware that you have called.
Do you have a phone number on them? I could call them.
We don't apparently have a direct number for them, but we can have it escalated through the same case with your ticket.
But I'll hold on. Can you get in touch with them and ask them when they're going to get a hold of me?
I'm afraid they are apparently unable to assist over the phone.
They don't talk to anybody on the phone. So why did they talk to my guests?
No, I mean, we don't have a way to connect the call directly to them.
No, I know, but can you get a hold of them?
Or we don't have a direct number as well to reach out to them. We can only communicate via email and via messaging.
Okay. So can you message them and tell them I need to talk to them right away?
Yeah, I've sent them a message already. Anything else you want me to add on the report?
But will you tell them that I need to talk to them right now, that it's important?
I have requested a call back.
So can you write them and ask them when they're going to call me and then tell me?
Well, I won't be able to provide any time frame yet on when that will happen, but I have indicated that you are waiting for an update and that you would request a call back.
No, but will they write you back and tell you when they're going to call me back? Don't you think I should be able to know when they're going to call me back?
Well, once they get my request by updating the case, we'll let them know what you are requesting, and that's how they would respond to the case. I'm indicating that you are waiting for an update and for them to reach out to you to provide you with the details on why the reservation was canceled.
I know why they canceled it. Someone made up a lie about me and said that I had guns in the house and said that I had surveillance cameras in there. So without talking to me, they pretended that they believed that stupidity in that like disgustingness, knowing that I'm the skin that God jumps in with blatant scientific evidence all the way from heaven. And we have the most positive moral dogma in the history of any government or any religion, or obviously in the history of the world. So it makes no sense that why I would have guns and I would put cameras in there to watch people having sex in the house. I mean, how come the people didn't call me and complain about guns or cameras in the house? And how come they don't have any pictures of it? Because it's all bullshit. So can you?
Were you able to?
What?
Were you able to talk to Catherine during her stay?
Yeah. And she didn't tell me anything about that they said they're sending her money back and all that. I just wrote her about it.
Okay.
What did they tell her? Does it say what they told her?
Oh, that doesn't show up any details.
Don't you think that's corrupt that she stayed there and then they took my money? They let her stay at my place for free? You don't think that's corrupt? That's stealing money from me. What?
I'm sorry, I can't really provide any details since we haven't been provided with any updates on what happened. That's why I'm asking them to provide you with an update with the reason why the reservation got canceled.
But do they know? But they called her after the fact that she had already stayed there. Don't they understand that?
I'm sorry that this happened, Peter.
Does that make any sense to you at all?
Oh, I understand where you're coming from, and honestly, I get you. It's just that I don't have any answer to provide you.
In other words, now that you hear the story that these people who stayed there never called me and complained about any guns. Like there's toy guns there, toys, but there's no real guns, and there's no surveillance cameras, obviously, anywhere outside or inside, and so it's just blatant lies because they destroyed some of my property there, and they were mad because I called them on it. But I didn't even file a report on them because it's a long story. When my brother filed a report on someone, then you guys banned them from Airbnb, so I'm not going to take that risk. But now that you hear the truth that, I'm the skin that God jumps in with scientific evidence all the way from heaven, the real scientific evidence, God. And I got this job because I was the nicest human for 12 lifetime tests in a row. zero prejudice and zero lies and for 12 lifetimes in a row. So, like, why would they believe, like, some ridiculous lie without even hearing my side of the story? So now that you hear the whole thing, do you believe me or do you believe these people who made up this bullshit about surveillance cameras and guns? Who do you believe? Like, if the people at Airbnb asked you your opinion, what are you going to say?
I get you. And that's what I would raise to them. Well, yes, you should have been contacted before the cancellation, and that is what we have to find out.
No, but do you believe me or do you believe the people who said that I have guns and surveillance cameras? Which do you believe?
I'm sorry?
Do you believe me or do you believe the people who said I had guns and surveillance cameras in the house?
Well, I won't believe anyone until I have a proof.
Well, I just told you the whole story, so that's all they have there. It's her story versus mine. So from hearing all this, in other words, I'm the skin that God jumps in, Peter Palpin, the night of the light, with blatant scientific evidence all the way from heaven since December 22nd, 2006. God's been channeling through me, doing humanly impossible things with blatant scientific evidence. So who are you going to believe? The real moral scientific evidence God and me, the skin he jumps in, or some liar who was insanely jealous and pretends a man named Jesus is the one and only God Almighty? Who are you going to believe, me or them?
I'm sorry.
Who are you going to believe, me or them? This is what we're going to ask you on the stand, the judge in court.
I don't believe to anyone unless I can see a proof, unless there's a proof. I'm sorry. I cannot.
Exactly, proof. And so who has the proof that God is not, about the one and only real God? Any of the religions or the God down here putting those real-time black bags under people's eyes and turning them on and off like a light switch? Exactly. You just said you needed proof. So who's the real one and only God Almighty? A man God fraud named Jesus, the Jew God fraud, the Allah and Muhammad cartoon God fraud, the little blue boy God fraud, and all the rest of the Muhammad and Allah and Buddha God fraud, or in the Jesus God frauds? Or is it, or the one and only God Almighty down here with blatant scientific evidence? Which one is the real one? You said you needed proof. So how much proof do you need? 15 years of scientific evidence. God through me, to me, and not through me. Turned me into a humanly impossible superhero boy when I'm 65 years old on my birth certificate, even written in triplicate. So how the fuck am I a kid at 65 years old, a superhero boy, moving at humanly impossible speeds? So who are you going to believe? Me in the light, God, who created you? Or I'm not God. God is the one doing the humanly impossible things through me, to me, and not through me. Those real-time black bags, those real-time cancers that you see happening under people's eyes and turning on and off like a light switch. So who are you going to believe? Me and the real God, or some liar who's insanely jealous of us, who pretends a man named Jesus cartoon is the one and only God Almighty? Who are you going to believe? Someone who burns people alive forever and ever for being born gay? In other words, it's not true because it's a cartoon, but in the Bible, it says, if you're gay, all loving man, God, fraud, Jesus burns you alive forever and ever, screaming your head off. So who are you going to believe? That ridiculous story, someone who pretends that's true when God is here with scientific evidence, which is the most disgusting blasphemy in the history of the world, or are you going to believe me in the light? Who do you believe? Who do you believe?
I'm sorry, Peter.
Who do you believe?
No longer.
Who do you believe?
To the reservation and to your case, I'm afraid I would have to end this call.
Well, you said you want to look at the evidence.